Your desk might be costing you more focus than you realize. Every cable you see, every paper you leave behind, every gadget sitting within reach. Your brain has to process all of it, even when you're trying to ignore it. But Japanese organization follows a different idea. Don't just clean your desk. Design it so your brain has less to process. From vertical storage and hidden cables to one-in, one-out rules and a simple end-of-day reset, these 10 Japanese desk habits turn a cluttered workspace into a place where focus feels almost automatic. And the best part? You don't need a bigger desk, you need a better system. 1. Protect the visual horizon. The first habit is simple. Protect the space directly in front of your eyes. Most people treat their entire desk as storage. A notebook here, a few pens there, a charger, some papers, a coffee cup. Each item seems harmless, but together they create constant visual noise. In a small Japanese workspace, the goal is different. Keep the area around your monitor and keyboard as clear as possible. Move rarely used items into drawers. Store documents vertically. Keep small tools contained, and avoid filling the desk with things you don't actually need. This creates a clean visual field where your eyes can rest, instead of constantly jumping between objects. The goal isn't an empty desk just for aesthetics. It's to make one thing immediately obvious: what you're supposed to focus on. When your eyes see less, your workspace asks less from your attention. 2. Control what comes in. A clean desk won't stay clean if new clutter keeps entering. That's why the next habit is, one thing comes in, one thing goes out. A new notebook comes in? Ask whether an old one still deserves its space. A new gadget joins your setup? Decide whether something else can leave. The goal isn't to own as little as possible. It's to stop your workspace from accumulating objects faster than your system can handle them. This is where the Japanese idea of mottainai can be useful. Not simply keeping things because they might be useful someday, but thinking carefully about what actually deserves to be kept. Because once your desk becomes crowded, organization becomes a constant battle. Control what enters the system, and you have less to organize in the first place. Less coming in means less to manage later. 3. Give everything a permanent home. The next rule is one of the foundations of good organization. Everything needs a designated place. Your pens have a place. Your headphones have a place. Your chargers have a place. Your documents have a place. Even the tiny things you use every day should have somewhere they naturally return to. Because when an object doesn't have a home, it usually ends up on the desk. One object becomes 3. 3 become 10. And suddenly, the workspace is cluttered again. A good system doesn't make you wonder where something belongs. The correct location should be obvious. Use it, return it, done. This is the real advantage of giving everything a home. You don't have to reorganize the desk every time you use it. 4. Store vertically before expanding horizontally. When a desk feels too small, the obvious solution is usually to add more surface area. But in a compact Japanese workspace, there's another direction to look: up. Instead of spreading notebooks, documents, and accessories across the desk, use the vertical space around it. A monitor riser can create storage underneath. A vertical file holder can keep documents upright. A small shelf can create another level without taking much desk space. And wall-mounted storage can move frequently used tools completely off the work surface. The principle is simple. Don't keep expanding outward when you can build upward. This is especially useful in small rooms, where every centimeter of horizontal space matters. A small desk can feel surprisingly spacious when its vertical space is actually being used. 5. Hide the cables. There's one type of clutter that can ruin an organized desk almost instantly: cable clutter. You can perfectly arrange your notebooks. You can organize every drawer. You can clear the entire desktop. But if cables are running everywhere, the workspace still feels chaotic. So instead of letting cables become part of the visual landscape, route them out of sight. Attach them underneath the desk. Group related cables together. Use clips or sleeves to keep them controlled. And keep only the necessary length visible. The goal isn't to make technology disappear, it's to make technology quiet. Because organization isn't only about where things are, it's also about what your eyes don't have to process. And once the cables disappear, the entire workspace feels calmer. A clean desk should look simple, not because you have less technology, but because the technology is under control. 6. Create clear zones. A small desk becomes chaotic when everything is allowed to share the same space. Your keyboard sits next to paperwork. Your phone sits beside your notebook. Chargers, receipts, snacks, and random objects slowly invade the same surface. Instead of letting everything mix together, create simple zones. Your main work tools stay in the primary work zone. Documents have their own area. Tech accessories stay together. Personal items go somewhere else. The zones don't have to be large. They just need to be clear. Because when everything has a defined area, you spend less time deciding where things should go. And when you sit down to work, the environment sends a simple signal. This is where work happens. 7. Let frequency decide accessibility. Not everything deserves to be within arm's reach. The things you use every day should be close. The things you use once a week can be stored nearby. And the things you rarely touch can move completely out of sight. Think of your workspace in 3 levels: daily, within reach; weekly, nearby; rarely, stored away. This prevents a common mistake: keeping everything on the desk just because you might need it. Convenience has a hidden cost. When everything is easy to reach, everything is also easy to see. A better system makes frequently used items convenient without allowing them to take over your workspace. Accessibility should follow frequency, not fear of needing something someday. 8. Contain small objects. Small objects can create a surprising amount of visual clutter. Pins, USB drives, memory cards, earbuds, paper clips, keys. Each one is tiny, but when they're scattered across the desk, they create dozens of separate visual distractions. Instead, give them a boundary. Use a small tray or container to create one designated zone for these loose items. Now 5 small objects become one organized area. And that's the important part. The tray isn't the real solution. The boundary is. It tells every small object exactly where it belongs. And when the tray starts overflowing, don't immediately buy another organizer. Treat it as a signal. You may have too much. 9. Reset the desk at the end of the day. A well-organized desk isn't something you clean once. It's a system you reset. And the reset doesn't need to take 15 minutes. It can take 2 or 3. Return the pens. Put the notebook away. Remove anything that doesn't belong. Throw away the trash. Straighten the keyboard. Put loose cables back where they belong. That's it. You're not deep cleaning. You're simply returning the workspace to its default state. This creates an important habit. Don't allow yesterday's mess to become tomorrow's starting point. When you sit down the next morning, you shouldn't have to clean before you can think. The workspace is already ready. 10. Turn the desk wall into storage. And here's one of the easiest ways to free up a small desk. Stop using the desk surface for everything. A simple pegboard or wire grid mounted above or beside the desk can turn unused wall space into practical storage. Hang your headphones. Keep scissors and pens within reach. Organize charging cables. Pin important notes. Store small tools without filling the desktop. The advantage is simple. Everything stays visible and accessible without taking up valuable work surface. And unlike a drawer, a vertical grid lets you see exactly where things belong. It also reinforces the principle we saw earlier: build upward before expanding outward. Your desk doesn't necessarily need more space. Sometimes the space you need is already there, just above your desk. The big idea. And when you put all 10 habits together, you start to see the bigger idea. A Japanese-style organized desk isn't about buying more organizers. It's about designing a system where everything has a purpose, a place, and a reason to stay. Control what comes in. Give everything a home. Use vertical space. Keep different activities in different zones. Hide unnecessary visual noise. And at the end of the day, reset the system. Because the goal isn't to create a perfect desk, it's to create a workspace that makes the right action easier. You don't waste time looking for things. You don't constantly move clutter around. And you don't have to clean everything from scratch every morning. The desk simply returns to its natural state. Less clutter, less searching, less decision-making, more focus. That's the real genius of a good organization system. It doesn't just make your space look better, it makes everyday life easier. If you enjoyed these Japanese ideas, subscribe for more simple systems that make everyday life smarter and easier.